talking to my mind, and this kind of brings it back to the book topic we were discussing not too long ago. So now I teach math, but as a high school student, like and again, this is another issue and entirely, but like the curriculum, if I stayed in CP, I don't know what, especially for Chad, I don't know what you call your regular standard English courses versus your honors or AP, but we also have I went to an IB school, International Baccalaureate, so we had IB English. But
yeah, those are the same for us.
Yeah, okay, I never know. But I'm like comparing, I was just like, and I don't know if they do it on purpose. Like, I'm so glad I went to the honors courses because it gave me books that now for some reason are deemed problematic. So like, for example, Lord of the Flies. Like, I thought that book was very interesting. I learned so much about it. And as a 10th grader for extra credit, because we were doing 1984, we were also given a list of other authors from that era that were criticizing government and all that kind of stuff and the way that society was running at the time. So this comes as a shocker, and there might be some provocation with this. But as extra credit, my 10th grade teachers, here's a couple of books, read it. And I was just like, I don't think under normal circumstances I would have read Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
No,
and that book was 10th grader me did it for extra credit because it was a Christmas break project. So I decided to do. Listen, I was an overachiever in high school.
Clearly,
nerd.
I'm just gonna read War and Peace over the weekend.
Yeah.
But the point being is that had I not taken those honor classes, I wouldn't have been introduced to a lot of books. So there was that, like A Passage to India, The Sound and the Fury, even international books like Ficciones, Othello. I'm just like, it frustrates me because these variety of books that I read opened me up to discovering and researching and learning about the historical contexts that these things were written in. And it sucks because I am noticing that a lot of my students don't have that historical context because I don't understand when parents got so afraid to teach them the historical implications of everything that it was. And I'm just like, so we have a problem with Fahrenheit 451, 1984, even some of the newer books too. See, a couple years ago when the movie came out too, because I had read the book first, I remember there was such a hot debate about some of the newer young adult novels that students were reading. Like the biggest one I can remember, at least in my area, was when The Hate You Give came out as a movie. Love the book. The movie was great, though I had putting on from a film critique lens, I think there were some things they could have done better with it. But overall, yes. I thought it got the general message of what the author wanted to get across in the movie. And the book was fantastic. Parents were in an uproar because kids were reading it and doing research on like the movements from the history, like the Black Panther movement or civil rights movements and things like that. I'm like, why are we so afraid to have students investigate all that? I'm like, it was a part of history. I was like, come on.
I'll tell you why. And call me the conspiracy quack, but I'm just going to be real about it. Jim Crow laws existed for a very specific reason. And it was not to separate. It was to subjugate. Jim Crow laws were to keep things in a de facto slavery, de facto the white man still on top, the white man still in charge. So how do you subjugate a people? You don't teach them. You don't educate them. You keep them from reading. You keep only the certain amount of people who can vote and have influence and power. So you can vote? Yeah, but you have to pass this test. That white man didn't have to pass the test, but you have to pass the test. Oh, you want to own some land? Oh, I'm sorry. That land's only available for this person. You subjugate a people by taking away their knowledge, which is exactly what Ray Bradbury warned us of. You subjugate a people by taking away their knowledge. You get rid of the key to knowledge, they can't access it. And so we don't want them to learn about the history of slavery and how ugly it really was. We don't want them to learn about the Daughters of the Confederacy and how they planted the statues. And we don't want them to learn about the history of how we came to name all of these bases and these other things off of Confederate people. We glorify and romanticize the antebellum South, and that's still a thing. And now you have people who are just completely confused on the history. And now it's even worse. Don't learn applicable math and science. Don't learn applicable English skills and history and all these other things. And what do we see across the board in standardized testing for the past 20, 30 years? Minorities stay the minority. scores stay the same. We've maintained the status quo. And anytime it starts to shift, they change the scoring guides, they change the tests. Why? Because it's about subjugation. Call me a conspiracy theory, give me a tinfoil hat, but I stand by what I said.
No, I completely agree with you on that idea. That's how you subjugate them. And on the same side is people don't realize, we'll go tinfoil hat on the side, is that this is where you continue to subjugate, but can people be as openly critical? Can they, let's say critical, but can they be openly as racial as they were in Jim Crow South for when segregation wasn't? They can't be. They've got to do it a little bit. So how do you continue to not have that conversation? If we don't teach it, then the kids don't have to ask about it. If the kids don't ask about it, then the people don't have to sit there and explain it. And so when you get, hey, Mom, Dad, why was this happening? Excuse me, Mr. or Mrs. as the teacher, why did this happen? Nobody wants to hear that true answer of why people did what they did back then. Mm-hmm. Is that hurt? You got to look backwards. You got to look internally and go, you know what? Our history comes from a point of really crappy things.
Really crappy. Yep.
That's I know what that is, diminishing it down to the utmost degree, but they're really crap. But that's what it was. Is we have to look at the ugly, the nasty, that horrid history of ours. Look back and go, you know what? We've come from a large place, and I always use it as a place to where we look at the worst to become better than we ever were. Really is what needs to be done.
And that's just the racial topics that history has brought up, like racism, prejudice, all that good stuff. I don't even want to get into the conversation when you take that and put it over the lens of the LGBTQIA plus issues that went on through history, like the Stonewall riots, or even, and again, I might be the only one because I am part of the community, but I didn't learn about any of that until I became an adult in college. I'm like, why was this not in my history books? I feel like the Stonewall riots, maybe not as on a grand of the scale and world changing as some other things that are covered in history, but they're just important as to the foundations of where we are now as a society, like Stonewall, or even talking about what happened in Wyoming with the Matthew Shepard murder all those years ago. That is a landmark of an event. I'm like, why is, I don't know.
Nobody wants to answer. Nobody wants to have to answer that question of why this came about. It's that uncomfortable thing, is calling the baby ugly when it's ugly. Nobody wants to do that.
And we do have to learn to start asking the questions. Personally, I am a patriot. I served my country. I love this country. I know how flawed it is, though. And I stand by that. So I'm so sick and tired of hearing the founding fathers, the founding fathers, the founding fathers. Yeah, let's talk about them. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about our Christian founding fathers who were mostly deists. And let's talk about how they just glossed over slavery so they didn't have to deal with it. Why? Because they were holding to their own slavery. They're holding to their constituents. They're holding to. So here we are in this country being established for freedom, but you had people that weren't free. We don't want to talk about it, though. Why did we have a don't ask, don't tell policy in the 90s that continued on up until the 2020s? Why? That we got to ask the question why, but we don't want to. And what's happening now is really projection. Let's make it so that nobody asks the question why. And if you do, we'll just attack you, get you kicked out of that classroom. We'll attack you. You shouldn't be asking the question why.
Because many people who want to answer or who want to ask the question aren't ready for the answer. And then the the people who are put in charge to answer those questions have no idea how to answer it. And that's why they kick them out. It's a general mix. And then you get the stubborn assholes like the four of us who are going to ask the fucking questions because we're ready for the answers. We probably already know the answers in some aspects, depending on the situation. So we're going to ask it.
One of the things I teach is U.S. government, and I had kids ask us, why did they bypass it? Why did they not answer that question, our founding fathers? Why did they not deal with that issue? I told them right now, it was more important to them to get it past the southern states than it was to answer it. It was more important that they got this country started. And now, don't get me wrong, you had states like Vermont abolished it immediately.
Right.
It was one of their first acts as a state. You had states that did do it, but there was a lot that they knew that they were never going to get it past the southern states. And of course, you had to get total ratification to get these things changed. And it was not a hot priority for them because they knew that it was more important to have it as an economic action than it was to do about freedom. Is freedom a tenet? Yes. What was more important to them at the time? And that's something that people go, oh shit. I said, but you have to be able to sit. We have to look at it critically.
Right.
It's like we get rid of the idea of, God forbid, we look at something, try to find the root cause to it. Let's just find what makes it sound like it's okay and then gloss over it. Versus getting kids to think. Actually, getting kids to think versus just accept. They want that mindset of, okay, just listen. I'm going to tell you what it is. This is the gospel. Move on.
Yeah.
We need thinkers in this world.
And we oversimplify things. So what you're talking about is the absolute truth. That doesn't dive deep into who they were as people, but they had to figure out a balance. How do we get everyone to agree to this one thing so that we can move forward as a country? They knew that the slavery issue was going to come to a head at some point. They knew it was gonna be bad down the road, but we never would have got started. But if you say what you just said now to most people, you're going to have an even divide. You're going to have people who say, see, they were totally not racist. And you're going to have the other side that comes out and says, see, they were just a bunch of racists. It's more nuanced than that. You've got to think critically. But we don't want to think critically as a society, and we have been so divided along Republican and Democrat lines that they affect they affect our faith. They affect everything. You want to be like in the South and during the Civil Rights Movement, to be Christian meant white and pure white and believe exactly what the church taught you and follow and toe in line with the Republican Party and things along those lines. Not much has changed, man.
No, not much has changed.
And people want to throw around the term indoctrinate. I was just like, okay, let's take a step back and actually look at this because I'm about to go off. So you're looking at us educators, us teachers, and you're saying that we're indoctrinating your children because they're starting to ask questions, or I have students looking into these issues themselves. Now, granted, when they do, I try to point them in the right direction so they can get actual information and not biases. So I'm like, any institutions, all that stuff, if they I'm going to point them in the right direction. Though if they say, did you? And be like, no, they're just being curious. They're being what a child's supposed to do. Ask questions and be critical thinkers. And society is telling us that we're indoctrinating our children. Let's flip it back. You're indoctrinating your children to forget the dirty bits of history of this country. You're indoctrinating them into not asking questions and to be subservient and to be conformed into what you want them to be. The education system as it is set up, and I love what I do, so some people are going to take this as misconstrued. I don't care. It seems that our profession now is being told that we need to make robots instead of actual thinking individuals. And it frustrates the hell out of me because I'm like, if we don't teach our students to be critical thinkers and to try to take a look at the nuances, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a thing called the gray area for a lot of this, and that's okay. You don't have to be either or. You can have strong feelings towards one, but you have to critically think about everything that is involved in it. But no, like I said, people don't want to do it. So if you want to throw around the word indoctrinate, families, administrators, society, how about y'all take a look in the mirror and ask that question to yourself? Because I, for one, am sick of you telling me that. Sorry for making me wanting to make your student a productive citizen society.
They don't want productive citizens.
No,
they want sheep. They want sheep.
Factory workers.
Because if they wanted kids to actually go out there and use that gray matter stuck between their freaking ears, a test would not be administered multiple times a year to gauge, do you know this fact in this way only? I was listening to some guy a while ago about standardized testing. Some of y'all may have heard of him. That guy over there. Yeah. This guy over here.
I wonder who he could be talking about. Shit, I know nobody who talks about it. Damn it.
He's talking specifically about this. Sorry.
I know we're joking about it, but shit, man, like,
No, but
we
it's
wouldn't be
true.
here. Yeah, exactly.
It's true. They want to judge everybody up on how well they can climb a tree. That's great if everybody was a freaking squirrel. Not everybody's a freaking squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just want to be a boop noodle.
I would like to be that. I want to be the wacky wavy armband thing.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Wacky inflatable armband. Wacky wavy inflatable armband.
I had a student come back and visit me, a graduated student from my early college high school. He did not get his associate's degree. He took some college classes during his time because he was in an early college, but he's not going to college. He went into HVAC.
Nice.
And he's getting his certification, and he's already interning and just interviewed for a job paying him $31 an hour out the gate. And
Damn.
I said, good, because I remember in your freshman year of high school telling you, hey, college is only for some of the people in this room. Some of you trade school, some of you military, some of you
Don't get me started on
entrepreneurship,
that one.
solopreneurship. You have to choose your own path based on what it is you want in life. If you want to be a civil servant, you want to serve as a firefighter, police officer, something like that, great. If you want to be a social worker, you're going to need a degree. You want to be a personal trainer, you don't need a degree in kinesiology, but it might serve you to get a business management degree. And if you want to be a PE coach, then that degree in kinesiology might be beneficial. So there's more to it. But what do we want? Everybody has to have a bachelor's in business. The fuck is that?
Ooh, let's dive into that messy topic. So I remember, and you might think this was only yesterday because you're still in their 20s, but yeah, I'm going to pull that card. Sorry, gentlemen. But the point being, I remember that college was so hammered in and shoved down all of our throats while we were in high school. And I was already planning to go to school, but I was just like, with my students now, it's like, hey, Mr. Laguilla, was college worth it? I was like, in some regards, yes, because I did learn a lot, especially when I got to my classes that I took for my major, because that was specifically on the interest that I wanted to.
Right.
Lord knows why they decided to hire somebody to teach math who has their degree in psychology. Who knew? But, you know, the point being, I told them, I was like, for my major, absolutely yes. For everything else, absolutely not. Would I still do it again? Probably. But I tell my students, I'm like, listen, college is not for everybody. It is only for some of you. And I need people in power to, one, just hold college, the service, going into the job force immediately after graduation in the same regard as people saying you need to go to college. You don't need to go to college. You can still be productive in different avenues. Don't feel that if you don't go to college, you're not going to be productive. I also need, and this is just a minor thing, if you want us to go to college, then how about y'all make it a little more affordable? And especially for those of us that are less pigmentally challenged than some of our counterparts, why don't you make it more affordable? Because Lord knows I had to sell my arm, leg, kidney, and part of my soul to make my way for my undergrad. And I'm still paying for it to this day.
That's why I didn't get a good interest rate. I didn't have a soul. Okay, got it.
But you got to remember, that goes into the whole idea. They want that drone. They get you into college. They want you locked in. Because
they like that debt.
They like that debt. That's that new form of slavery. Is that you are locked into that debt for the rest of your life. Your credit score is locked in. Is rated at how much debt, not how well you pay that debt, is how much debt you can continue to maintain and operate at a functional level. That's what they want.
Yep.
Say they is that proverbial that they want you locked in. They want you to go to school. They want you to hook that debt. Because how has education changed so much that you now need to, what used to be able to be paid on a part-time job while going through college is now being maintained at you need a 6-figure debt the day you graduate with your bachelor's, right? And Chad, you met him you knew him in the service. Tell me that you did not have some of the smartest guys without degrees. I had a guy who spent his days 40 feet underground managing a security. He was the controller. Dude had 2 masters, 3 bachelors, and was working on his doctorate. All within this first 6 years of service.
Damn.
He just grinded out. There he sat as an enlisted staff sergeant, working on his doctorate with 2 masters and I think it was like 2 bachelors.
Yeah. And that's a reality for a lot of people. There really is one reason I went into the military. I didn't have any options. And I'm looking at, okay, if you look on the outside, look at my skin color, you'd think I should have the options, but I had no options. And so I went into the military, and that's how I paid for my bachelor's degree. Now I wanted a master's degree. For me to elevate my position in education, I had to get a master's, but guess what? I couldn't afford it, so my district reimbursed me. Now I am and I joke about it all the time, but it is the reality. I am an indentured servant to my district.
Yep.
I cannot leave until I pay off what they've reimbursed me for. And that, I'm telling you, is how it works. So you want free college in this country? You can get it. Go in the military, you can get free college. Pell Grant will pay for a lot of things, and certain other grants that are available out there. There are a lot, but you really have to work for it. But you're going to be you're going to be subjected to someone.
Yes.
Unless you are the elite class. And so it's going to maintain that status quo. And now it used to be a handful of people you knew had degrees. Now the Starbucks barista's got a master's degree. The firefighter's got a master's degree and working 3 jobs. The teacher's got a PhD and tenured and is still working 3 jobs, roofing on the weekends, got an OnlyFans page for crying out loud. Seriously, we are beholden to society, and that's what society wants. Society wants you to be here.
Don't ruin our second job.
Yeah, I mean, go to beautifulfeet.com to find out what I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
Wait, that was you?
Awkward.
Your toenails looked on fleek streak, Chad.
Go to beardslide.com.
Oh.
Don't think I wouldn't. It's
just bears.com
bloody pictures of my beard.
Like we joke about it, but holy shit.
Cowboysfans.com, and it's Mike and Ashless chaps.
$20 is $20. I don't care who you are.
Shave the chest hair into a star.
Hess chair.
Hess chair.
Yes.
He's barbacoa.
HessChair.com.
The barbacoa.
He's got tapatio on it.
Oh my God. We joke about it, but I won't put them on blast, but there are teacher friends that I know that have second jobs, and we joke about OnlyFans, but I'm like, holy crap, you guys, like, ugh.
Did you hear about the teacher who's now a millionaire? She quit teaching and she's a millionaire now from OnlyFans.
We're not that pretty. That's the problem.
Not even fucking close.
But sprinkle some tahini on my beard, and I think I could get some things
a
done.
little bit of tahini. Let's go.
I play music in the hallway, and randomly I selected top 40s station on Amazon Music, and it was just starting to play, and I was like, all right, cool, that music. And I go back to my desk. It's playing before the bell, first thing, and of course, what song pops up? Sam Smith, Unholy.
Yeah.
I've never cleared my classroom fast enough. The others, one side to the other, to hit next on that dang speaker. Of course, who's sitting next is I've got 3 other teachers in the room next to him talking to our speech language pathologist. She turns to me and she goes, "That's a stripper song." And I'm like, "How do you know?"
How many skeletons in your closet, bitch?
Let's just go ahead and open the door on the right there, Bob, and let's see. Holy shit, look at the skeletons.
It's a pile
And
of
you should have seen, the kids were dying laughing. I about fell over this bookcase. I leaped over desk. I'm like, oh, I'm fired today. This is the day I get shit canned.
Today's the day.
Let's start. When I first started playing music, this might be a little too old for Mikey, but it started playing Pony. Genuine.
Yes. Yeah.
You do know I was born in 93.
You're still
So
young
you were
as shit.
listening to music.
But I know what Pony is, bro, because I had cultured parents, okay? They taught me the important bit.
About 3 bars into that free song, and I was like, running down the hallway.
Whoops. Oh, bitch.
It's a little longer to get down the hallway.
we can't even play certain music anymore. I was like, listen, your child is listening to X, Y, and Z out here. Calm down. I have a story though. It's so great. So I play music because I have the 6th graders for homeroom at the beginning of the day before we switch classes. So like 15, 20 minutes. And so I always I have a thing where I play a song each day. They walk into the room and I post it onto the smart board. So if they want to research it, listen to it later, add it to Spotify, whatever. So my principal, during my prep period, I listened to my other playlist, which is just for me. So my principal walks in as, oh my goodness, what was it? Yeah, it was Pony too. So I'm like listening to Pony. My principal walks in. I'm just like, I just stare at her. She stares at me. I stare at her. She stares back at me. And then as soon as the chorus hits in, she's just, because my classroom has 2 doors, she starts walking to the back of the door and then she's like, hey, and then walks out. I was like, yes.
That just reminds me of I looked at him and he looked at me.
We had
Tell
a
us-
bird. I'm
tell
so
us what
mad.
this entire-
drops it low, and your principal drops it low right next to a desk. You're like, oh, shit.
That was the middle school. That was the after party after the middle school dance.
Oh my God, we're having our first middle school dance this year. Oh my God. These kids are like, I don't know who to ask. I'm like, you're in 6th grade. Shut up.
What's
I
your
wanna-
friends?
The
Have a
boys
good
are going to be
time.
on one side, the girls are going to be the other. The boys are going to be doing
Yeah.
Fortnite dances, and that's it.
Bruh, I literally told my kids this. I said, okay, when I was your age, they're like, in the Stone Age? Yeah, fuck off. Boys would be on one side of the gym, girls on the other side of the gym, and never should the twain meet until one boy finally realized that
Smell
he could
better
say
than y'all do.
something. Yeah, I showered today.
And it took like the entire class. Go talk to her, dude. Go ask her dance. Go talk to her, dude. Go talk to her.
You
And
do
then
it.
they're
Oh, no, let
awkwardly,
you do it.
gyrating slightly to like the most popular song, and then you got everybody still kind of spread, but then it's back to the walls.
They think about it, and then the lights come on. Nope.
Okay.
Oh shit!
So sidebar tangent. We're gonna go over some tips for prom real quick.
Oh, fuck. Don't go.
Yeah, I didn't.
Mm,
Never went. Couldn't pay me to chaperone it. Fuck.
Nope.
Chaperoning is one thing, but as a student going to prom,
Mm.
listen. Here is Mr. Leguilo's tips for prom. Gentlemen,
Why are we talking about prom when we hope our
What
students
happened?
don't fucking find this anyway? What the hell are we doing?
How did we get here?
I'm-
How about better
Really?
yet? Yeah, that's a very valid point.
and they won't find. My 6th graders have my YouTube page, but there's nothing on there, so I'm like, okay, go off.
They won't find this one. We're
Okay.
safe here.
So Mikey's exercising his demons. Go ahead. We're here for you, man. Go for it.
Mikey
How
never got
Christ
asked to
knows
prom. He's trying to
Blow
work
out
through
your
some
ass.
shit right-
Listen, as long as the head don't spin, we're good.
You spew some green shit. I'm out. I'm done. I'm
Done.
gone.
Oh, I'll be like, no, we're out. All right, so really quickly, gentlemen, here's my tip to you for prom. So if you're going to go to prom, listen, if you don't have a date, it's not the end of the world. You want to know why? Because most girls, at least this is the ones that I went to school with, they don't care. They didn't. They were just there with their girlfriends. And you want to know why? Go with the band and theater kids because they are the most inviting and loving. Also, don't be afraid. If you know any of your friends that are in the LGBTQIA plus community, go with them as well. Because why? Because if you can hang with the gays and the lesbians, you will be fine with the hetero women later down the line. Because for some reason, women find it hot that you know the gays for some reason. That's just me.
Teach you how to dress.
There's
The-
that.
And if you are rhythmically challenged, they will also teach you how to dance properly.
Bullshit.
They will teach you.
Bullshit. None of my gay
One
friends
is lost
ever taught me how
cause.
to dance.
Then you don't
No,
have
they
the right
just laughed at
ones.
it. They just laughed at you. But I will say I'm a little pushback on the band and the theater kids. Yes, go with them. Yes, go with them, but not because they're the loving and inviting. Not my experience. They were the ones with the best weed.
Oh no, they have the good after parties. That's where you want.
You're not wrong.
They were
You've
the
never
straight
seen
party
American
holics. You know
Pie.
who was losing her virginity first? The band girl with I've got my tuba. Yes, you do, sweetie. Yes, you do.
That's what they call
You've
it.
never seen
Yeah.
American Pie.
Yes.
Yes. That was the most accurate film ever made.
Was.
That was
Band
filmed
camp
live
was-
on location.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
band
you
camp
really
was
look at-
basically it.
So you get all these mood like John Hughes. No, Breakfast Club. That's an antiquated. That is the new idea. When it comes to you've got every little group, and they all fit somewhere in there. You just got to find out who you are and how you operate.
Yep. Find your people.
Be a
man.
smooth operator.
Really, you're gonna go that far back?
That hurt a little bit.
Wow.
You guys then.
I got it.
I didn't say anything. I was here for it.
We're not negating that it's the song. It's just the fact
Yeah.
that he's going to revert all that far back.
Yeah,
I am going to revert that far back. If you keep talking shit, I hope Dak Prescott breaks his leg today.
Damn.
Did you
All right.
hear this?
That's it. That's it.
That's where Chad draws the line.
I hope Geno Smith takes off those shoes that make him look taller and has his rookie year performance. How about that?
We're talking about sports. Let me tune out real quick.
Sports. They're talking about sport ball.
Sports ball.
Sports ball.
Where they do the thing and then yeah.
Kick the field basket. Yes.
And okay. Yeah, I lose points because I'm like, sports
Fucking
never.
Mikey in Vegas at Fremont at that new Cirque hotel with the hugest sports fucking room ever. He's going to be so confused, but he's going to be like, ooh, shiny.
What happened here? Why is this place what it is?
We're going to have to keep Mikey out of circus. He's going to be in the amusement park.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like put bells on each other or something. Like, wait. Where the
Apple,
Oh,
we're going to have to
shit.
get those air tags and put them on the back of each other.
Yes, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Where'd they
People
go?
for
Hold
me
up.
in Machine Gun USA.
Rule number 1, Mikey, you do not get into the cab with strangers. Okay.
She doesn't love you, or he.
Nor does he.
Yes, I was gonna say that works. Listen, if anything,
I
it's
love
like
you
where
guys.
Mikey go.
What's some other tips? Other Vegas tips coming up.
Get all your
It's never just
get all your
$20.
shots.
Yeah, it's
Get all your
never just
shots
$20.
before you go.
Yeah. There's always going to be a cover charge when you enter the club, so be prepared for
You're
that.
not buying. You don't buy her a drink.
Here's what I learned: the obscure booking for like random shows might actually be the best ones. My wife and I
Yes.
won like top level hotel. Like we had to climb a mountain. We finally got in there. Best live comedy show I've ever been to in my life.
Nice.
Yeah, the small stuff in those are the best shows. Like going down to the Nugget. If you can get into you go to the Nugget. There's a comedy show up there. I got to see the Amazing Jonathan there.
Oh, the Amazing Jonathan at the Nugget is phenom.
Yes.
The Nugget, by the way, I'm sorry, best pool in Vegas.
Talking about the internal one, the one that's
They don't have an internal. It's all exterior, but they have 2 pools, 3 levels. So a big pool for everyone to be at, hot tub. Second level is all cabanas, and then the third level is the adults only that has day beds, cabanas, and then you got a slide that goes from the top to the bottom. What's cool about that is that slide goes right through a fucking Shark Tank.
Oh, yes. It's so much fun. So what you're saying is
Did
we're
Brett
basically
forget that
planning when we go to Vegas
who's got
together.
This money? Who's got this money? Who's got like third level
Yeah.
money here?
Yeah.
Bro, it's
Yeah, like-
super cheap. It's super cheap to go up there for the day.
The day. Look at him.
That's all you can do is for the day. But it was like, I think my wife and I spent like $40 for the day.
I bet I can start
When I
saving
went to
now.
Vegas, I had to start up an OnlyFans just to pay for the trip.
I thought I came across your page the other day, but I'm like, has not been active in a year. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just to pay for the trip, and it was one time, and they were very gentle.
There was just videos of you like beard brushing everything.
I actually had people make those comments. I was like, okay, maybe I
just
won't
the
make that
sultry-
joke again.
sultry
Ooh.
life.
I toyed
Listen-
with that idea at one time, and I put one photo up.
Starting an OnlyFans?
Yes. I was like, how could I supplement my income? I was straight thinking not teacher stuff by the way, but like dad porn. It's like dude mowing the grass type stuff. I'm in Florida,
you-
get sweaty, all right?
I was like, you know what you do? You get some Birkenstocks, you put some white socks on, take pictures of those bad boys. Instant money.
Oh, yeah. Sandals with the calf socks.
I've got Birkenstocks that I got in 1997 that are still
Oh my-
functional.
Just do a video of you planning out everybody's vacation, like step by step. We're gonna go here and here. And like, oh, he's such a dad. Oh my gosh.
Now, kids, when we get here, you're going to have to remember to hold on to everybody's belt buckle because we can't get lost. Because if I lose you, I leave you. Okay. And we don't want to do that.
Hey, we got
You know
Susan
what?
grabbed you.
145.
She's your new mommy.
In more ways than one?
Mike ran that one right off the rails. Attaboy, Mikey.
There
You're
you go. I
You're
think we've reached the end of the internet and found out that it's gross.
Thanks, Al Gore, you asshole.
Well, we got to have some lighthearted moments because we've been super serious for the majority of this.
It did get pretty serious for a while there.
And if the four of us don't talk a lot of shit at some point,
shit,
what kind of show is this?
Something's wrong. Like,
listen, if we don't vent our frustrations and put it out in a podcast format, we're going to say it to the wrong person, and then we'll have a couple of us will have one less job down the line.
True. Not wrong.
Oh my goodness. Y'all already know the behind the scenes, but Lord, test my patience for the last couple of weeks with these students and just everything in general.
I have a district visit tomorrow.
Ew.
Our REJ team is showing up because they want to come to my room. I'm like, why?
What did you do?
Why are you coming to the clear, teacher?
They found your TikTok.
Son of a bitch.
It's all gonna happen now.
You got to ask your students, all right, which one of you snitched?
Which one of you motherfuckers said something?
I gave up. I go to any district event and you're like, I saw your last TikTok. And I'm like, did you send it to the administrators? Because I'm just waiting for that call.
Oh, no, I got that one last year. And
my gosh, yes. I
had to promise not to make TikToks in school, and so I'm slowly rescinding that.
Yeah, so am I.
But then you're making TikToks for your actual school?
Promises.
That's, if you're allowing me to do it for this. And as I said, you'll see a lot of my stuff. Really started to tone down my non-teacher stuff just so I can get away with it, because to me it was an outlet.
Yeah,
fair.
And I needed that. And then when that's happened, I got funky for a bit. I was like, you know what? I had a creative outlet, and now it's not there. And yeah, so I slowly let me just make a little one. I'm not showing anything else in the school. Usually my little cubby by my desk. But I'm never showing students. I'm limiting I'm actually not limiting. I'm trying not to swear at all in any of my videos, just so I can play nice and do that. And hell, I hope I can get top 5 rated for Bay County School District's Teacher of the Year, and that way they really can't say anything to me.
There you go.
You got to play the game sometimes, man.
Which, by the way, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, nicely done.
Oh, yeah, man.
Nicely done.
I mean, despite the fiasco with the peppers, you really came through.
You ended up on a high note with that one.
Yeah. I tried.
It's not where you
I'm
start.
watching him touch his eyes, and I'm just scared every time this fucker touches his eyes now.
Yeah.
He's gonna be turning up like La Llorona, and he's just gonna be bleeding.
Nah,
you know what? I will tell you, nowhere near the chili has gotten me. And it was with a student that came to class, and they're like, my eye itches. I'm like, oh, get away from me. Showing up with a little freaking pink eye into school. My eye itches.
Oh, God.
We don't want to talk. Oof, pink eye is...
Nope, not going there. Nope. On that note.
And that note, ladies and gentlemen, Karen, we hope you enjoyed the fucking ride, goddammit. Now get out of our taxi cab.
Gentlemen, this was great as always. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Unprofessional Development. What will we talk about next time? Who the fuck knows?
Don't care.
Just like our lessons, there are no plans.
Indeed.